Imagine a surgeon walking into the operating room. Every instrument is high quality, pure treated steel, sanitized and perfectly organized so the assistant can place it in the surgeon's hand at exactly the right moment. Every step has been prepared in advance. But what the patient does not see is the preparation behind the preparation. After medical school, surgeons complete several years of intensive hospital-based training. They rotate through general surgery, anesthesia, emergency medicine, and internal medicine, to name a few. In total, 12 to 14 years of education before they ever practice independently. The patient does not see the years of training, the discipline, the repetition, the quiet refinement. Yet, that hidden preparation is what allows the surgeon to act calmly, precisely, and sometimes to save a life. That is what Parshat Tetzaveh teaches us about service and holiness. The Parsha is not dramatic, it is detailed. It speaks about oil for the menorah, garments for the Kohanim, daily offerings, incense, preparation, structure. Some might even say it is boring. Of note, Moses' name does not appear in the entire Parsha. His presence is there without ever being mentioned. Hidden leadership. The Kohanim served in the Beit HaMikdash, and every aspect of their clothing was intentional. Each garment carried meaning. The ephod rested on the shoulders. On its straps were stones engraved with the names of the tribes. Leadership carries responsibility. The Choshen, the breastplate, had 12 precious stones over the heart, one for each tribe. It was not enough to carry the people as a burden on the shoulders. The Kohen had to carry them on his heart. Responsibility with empathy. The blue robe reflected dignity. The turban reminded the Kohen that he stood before God. The sash bound everything together in readiness. Serving God means wearing responsibility properly with compassion, dignity, humility, and readiness. The outer garments reflected the inner character required for holy service. Now let's talk about Purim. In the book of Esther, God's name is never mentioned, not once. The entire story unfolds through politics, sleepless nights, reversals of fortune, what looks like coincidence. The holiday itself is called Purim, from pur, or a lottery, random chance. But in truth, it is not random. Tetzaveh teaches that holiness is often hidden in preparation, and Purim teaches that God's hand is often hidden. At the very beginning of the Megillah, our sages tell us that King Ahasuerus wore the priestly garments at his feast, garments taken from Jerusalem after the destruction. He treated them as trophies of conquest and made a mockery of them. He thought he was displaying victory, but at that very feast the seeds of redemption were planted. Vashti was removed, Esther rose, Haman plotted, sleepless nights turned the story. What looked like power was fragile. The Jews who looked defeated were ultimately the victors. Friends, hidden does not mean absent. The menorah in Tetzaveh is described as near tamid, a constant flame. Constant does not mean dramatic, it means steady. It must be tended every day, oil replenished, wicks prepared. Holiness is sustained through consistency. The Korban Tamid was offered every morning and every evening, not once a year in a burst of inspiration, but daily. True holiness and greatness is built through repeated acts of faithfulness. This week is also Shabbat Zachor. We remember Amalek, who attacked when the people were weak. The Torah describes it as Asher Karcha Baderech, when things felt random, cold, coincidental. Amalek represents the voice that says nothing has meaning, everything is chance. Purim answers, nothing is chance. Even when the name is hidden, the presence is guiding. Even when the light is not obvious, the menorah is still burning. And that brings it back to us. We all wear garments: teacher, parent, doctor, lawyer, retired principal, a retired CEO, leader, friend. We too carry many names on our shoulders. We carry souls on our hearts. Most of what shapes our lives and the lives around us happens in preparation, in routine, in quiet integrity, in small acts of kindness where no one applauds. We do not need to be visible to be impactful. we need to try to be faithful to God. Emunah is intellectual faith and recognition that there is a God. Bitachon is the emotional and psychological deep trust that God is doing everything to protect and provide for us. It results in a calm and fearless state. That is what the surgeon needs when dealing with someone bleeding whose life is on the line. It's also what a pilot needs to handle situations with calm and focus. When you fly, do you sit and look calm, but inside are you really panicked? Can you just relax and let the pilot fly the plane? How can we dress ourselves spiritually with responsibility, compassion, dignity, humility, and readiness? How can we keep a steady light burning in our homes, our workplaces, our community? Small acts of consideration, kindness, restraint, integrity, and courage. A tremendous Kiddush Hashem. The menorah does not make noise, it burns. May we merit to be steady lights, visible when needed, hidden when necessary, but always at work.